Next up, we've got For All Mankind. I binged this week the show on Apple TV, For All Mankind Season 1. And I just want to give a huge shout out. If you are like me, if you're a space nut, you love all things space, you need to check out this show. You can go, I don't get any kickback for Apple TV. I don't work for Apple TV. I don't whatever. But like, I just signed up for the 14-day free trial, and then you can watch the whole show in, a week. You can binge it and then just cancel for free. Season 1 is out and complete. Season 2 is completely done, but they're releasing it like every week. So, that sucks. But like, I'm on like episode 4, and then I got to the point where they're like, the next episode will be available next week. And I'm like, but here's the premise of the show. Let me, number one, say, those of you that love The Expanse, the showrunner for The Expanse is Narang Shankar, and he is one of the executive producers and one of the writers for All Mankind. The premise of the show, and I'm not spoiling anything other than what they tell you in the trailer, and the trailer is in the show notes. Go check out this fucking trailer. Premise of the show is, in reality, we got to the moon first, and the Russians were poor, so they were like, fuck it, we quit, and they gave up. And when they gave up, we gave up because there was no political reason to keep going to the moon. The premise of the show is the Russians got to the moon first. And because they got to the moon first, we were like, we're not quitting. We need the race for the base. Let's set up a base on the moon. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do whatever. So the entire premise of the show is, what if the Russians beat us to the moon? So instead of landing on the moon, going there a couple of times, and then saying, fuck it, we quit because we were bored and we had whipped out our big dick and won the contest. What if we started at a huge disadvantage? And because of that, the Russians kept investing. And because of that, we kept investing. So in the 60s, they had gone with having a base on the moon, permanently manned. And by the 70s, it expanded out multiple levels to being like now a large base with dozens of people on the moon, permanently manned. And the Russians had the same. And we had women in the space program on the moon because the Russians did it as a PR stunt. So Nixon was like, well, I got to do it. And it's just extrapolating. What if the space race had never stopped? What if it had gone ham as fuck the whole ways? And then by the, 70s to 80s, we're like, hey, man, we're at the process. We're at the place of aiming for Mars. And like it's this basically cool, weird, funky alternate history. And they had stuff like the Sea Dragon project, which was a real thing. It was a rocket that was like 5 times bigger than the biggest rocket we have now. And it was so huge that you couldn't launch it from a landing pad. It would crack any landing pad you ever had. So you would tow it out into the ocean and like a buoy with these big ships, and then set it, and it would aim itself right, and it would literally be underwater, and then you would launch it, and it would from underneath the ocean shoot up straight and then head off. And it's a real project that NASA had, and they were like, funding got cut, we beat the Russians, they stopped, so we stopped, so who cares? But like, that was a real thing that could have happened and should have happened. And you're at a place where in the 80s, they have their sights set on Mars, like within 5 to 6 years or whatever, where I'm at in the show now. And it's like, oh my God, it's just amazing. I love it. So it's called For All Mankind. It's on Apple TV. Buy it, steal it, do whatever you do. I don't give a fuck. I don't work for them. But like, go check out that show. It's good.